Hello and welcome to the Kate and Eric show here. Wait a minute, that was the wrong song to be singing nowadays. Hold on. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. I think this one will be a bit more appropriate. So, here we go. Everybody ready, comrades? Here we go. Created in struggle by the will of the people, the united, the mighty, well, not Soviet Union, but be glorified, our fatherland, united and free. Good, they have it in English instead of Russian, because I don't speak Russian, but maybe we should all start speaking Russian. Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Party of Lenin, or I should say Party of Biden, the strength of the people. It leads us to the triumph of communism. All right, well, that's enough of that. And that's just kind of how it feels nowadays, doesn't it? So we should be singing that song, the great Soviet Union national anthem, because this last week has been quite the doozy. You know, as I prepare to do the show and I do all the research and the show prep and all gathering all the information, putting everything together, this episode 9 here. First, before I forget, thank you to everybody who listens, by the way. Don't want to forget that. Thank you to all the new listeners, all the continuing listeners. It's a great pleasure. And it's a lot of fun to do this show, you know. It's well, sometimes it can be a lot of fun. You know, the research is fun, but you know, you do it and you're like, oh, right, I'm done. Is this the end of the world yet? Are we done? Because I'm kind of fed up, and I'm sure you are too. You know, I'm sure everybody who listens to this show is pretty freaking fed up with the crap show that's going on in the United States of America here. But what a week it has been. I know I usually start off with some sports, but I don't really feel that is appropriate at the moment. I think I will talk about some sports later. That'll be some good. We'll end on a good upper here at the end of the show here, because the bulk of the show today is the subject matter isn't hard. Just realizing all the lies, the corruption, the witch hunt, all of it. It's just kind of a lot, really. You know, I'm glad that I have this platform in which I can speak my mind, because I think I would lose it otherwise. I think I would lose my mind. So, anyway, this week here, just awfulness. We have Trump is indicted again on some trumped up charges. So there you go. Here's a little funny for you. No, but I mean, in all seriousness though, it's just how just unbelievable is what has just happened. Oh, by the way, while I'm on the subject here of social media, because Donald Trump posted on his, of course, his Truth Social. I do have a Facebook page called The Kate and Eric Show, KADENERIC, and then I'm also on Twitter and on Truth Social, because I wanted to see what he had to say, and just wanted to be on all, both platforms there. Twitter and Truth Social is Caden without the Caden Eric Show on Twitter and on Truth Social, so you can follow me there. and I will post stories that either I've done or some that I just didn't have time to get to. So there's both of those. What President Trump tweeted at, or I don't know what you call it. It's not a tweet because he's not on Twitter. Truthed, or whatever it's called. A truth, I guess is what he calls it here, is that yesterday he said, one of the saddest days in the history of our country. We are a nation in decline. I mean, seriously. And again, another thing he said here was, on my way to the courthouse, witch hunt, MAGA. All this is in capital letters here. Then the next one here was, thank you, Miami. Such a warm welcome. Such a sad day for our country. It really is. This whole thing is just absolutely freaking ridiculous that they are trying to pin anything and everything they possibly can on this guy so he won't run next year. They're trying their freaking damnedest to get this guy out of the race, because if like he says, he's just kind of in the way of us. But not that I think he's I think his presidency was amazing. I think he's done really well. The judges that he's put in, the economy when he was president was amazing. And he didn't, I wasn't sold on him during the first go around, during the first election with him, but he has won me over. Sure, he can be cocky, but whatever, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what people think. He just tells the truth that what he knows, and he's trying his best just to make, because he's a billionaire. What the heck does he need to do all this stuff for? Go through all this nonsense. It's just we're a third world country. We're stuff that we read about in the history books. We're the freaking, that's what the Soviet Union did. That's what these other third world countries, they go after their political opponents. It's just so freaking frustrating. So there's that. So what he has been indicted on here, let me pull this up here. He's 37 felony counts all against Trump, 31 counts of willful retention of classified documents, 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice, 1 count of withholding a document or record, 1 count of corruptly concealing a document or record, 1 count of concealing a document in a federal investigation, 1 count of scheme to conceal, and to top it all off, 1 count of making false statements and representations. At least 4 of these charges carry a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. So, if any of this sticks, he will be in prison for the rest of his life, and the total, I didn't do the math on it, but the total amount will probably be hundreds of years. So, there's that. I mean, this is the whole idea that he's hiding documents. He was the president of the United States. Former Congressman Jason Chaffetz said that it's not like these were the only copies that anybody ever had. They were essentially just copies of other things. They had the copies, they had the originals back in DC or wherever the crap they keep this stuff. So it's not like he's selling information or, that's just, I don't believe that's him. That's not who he is. Because I would go to what's going on in Ukraine right now. If he was buddies with Vladimir Putin, then wouldn't Putin have gone to war with Ukraine while he was the president of the United States? Wouldn't that made a heck of a lot more sense than now when this demented douchebag is in office? That just, none of it makes any sense. I mean, he's the president. They've all done it. Obama did it. Bush did it. Clinton did it. They've all kept these documents. They've all had some documents. And, Biden here has had documents when he wasn't supposed to. As a senator, they aren't supposed to have these kind of things, but he did. And as a VP, he did. He had them for decades. Now all of a sudden it's a problem with just because Trump had it? I mean, come on. Give me a break. This is just an awful witch hunt. This is the political stunt to make sure that he does not run. It's just absolutely horrid what they have done and what they're going through here. So I'd like to go. He made a statement here. Just a minute. This is what he said. Let me pull it up. There's a lot of clips.
I think it's going great. I think it's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country. We have a country that's corrupt. We have a country that's got no borders. We have a country that's got nothing but problems. We're a nation in decline. And then they do this stuff. And you see where the people are. We love the people. And you see where they are. You see the crowds and everything else. We have a country that is in decline like never before. And we can't let it happen. I'm going to make a little speech tonight in Bedminster. And I hope you're going to be there. Can you start tomorrow? I hope you're going to be there.
Can you start tomorrow? Yes, please. Please. All right, so he made this beautiful statement here in a little cafe in Miami right after the ridiculous BS. And actually something kind of cool that happened here is, let me pull this up. There was a nice prayer that happened in they prayed over him here, and it wasn't just Christians. So here, just a second. So obviously there's protesters here in this BS. So he's surrounded by what looks like a Christian guy. There's a rabbi. All right, here it is. All right, here I want to pause that real quick here before the rabbi goes. So this guy here is clearly, from what he said, hopefully you can hear it. Is that he was a Cuban? He was originally from Cuba, and I think those people down there in Cuba would know all about communism. They all know about the big crap show that it is down there, and how horrible and how awful that type of lifestyle is, and that type of government where you don't have any freedoms. The government controls 100% of everything that you do. So you know, just hands off to him for coming here. Obviously, you did it the right way. You know, if you come here the right way, there's no problem. You know, we love you. We love to welcome you here. So obviously, they know what the crap. You know, he knew what the heck he's talking about here. So here's the rabbi. Just a minute. All right, clearly that was in Spanish, but I don't speak Spanish, so hopefully some of you do. But just, again, you know, you've got a Christian preacher, you've got a rabbi, he's got the yarmulke on his head, so I assume he's a Jewish rabbi. They're both praying over him. Obviously people are like, well, you just think he's a god. You just think, Trump this, Trump that. Trump's this. No, I don't think, he's not a god. He's just a man. He's done really well as a president. Clearly, he knows what the heck he's talking about as far as business goes, because he's got successful businesses, across the world. So it's just buckle up, because it's time to go to war. And I'm not talking physical war. I'm not talking guns. I'm not talking anything. This is a war. This is a spiritual war we're at right now, and it is time to rise up. It's time to rise up. Let's go. So there's also Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, goes over everything that has happened. So I would like to play the clip of him, and here it is. Just a minute. Oop, it'll help with the volume. Hold on, just a minute.
Think about what they're trying to indict President Trump on. You've got a sitting president right now in the exact same situation. You have a former First Lady, Senator, Secretary of State that had the same situation, that nothing was done to her.
Yep.
In America, some of our greatest strength is equal justice, and today it shows that it is not. But what's even
That's
worse,
for damn sure.
This is a leading contender to run for office with an administration of a current president that has the exact same documents. Even worse, from the aspect, there are documents that President Biden has that he had when he was a senator. I know from being part of the Gang of Eight, you do not remove any documents from the SCIF. So how does he even have the possibility of a document from the Senate? You've got to treat people equally.
Yeah.
What's going to be very concerning here, I've already talked to Chairman Comer and Chairman Jim Jordan of things that we can do to make sure equal justice. But there's something interesting in some of our investigations. We just had earlier this week a retired FBI agent that was a part of the investigation here. When you learn, and I think Jim Jordan's going to bring it out tonight, but when you learn of some of the things that he had said and how this investigation was carried out, you'll see then that this judgment is wrong by this DOJ, that they treated President Trump differently than they treat others, and it didn't have to be this way. This is going to disrupt this nation because it goes to the core of equal justice for all, which is not being seen today, and we are not going to stand for it.
I certainly hope not, because if this is how it's going to be, if the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, whoever the hell that is, if they're going to go after political opponents for the Democrats, we're in some deep crap, ladies and gentlemen. We are in some deep, deep crap if that is the case, because then what are we doing? I mean, if that's the case and they can go after political opponents like this, we're in trouble. The nation is in trouble. I mean, we will be open to the enemies of the United States around the world if we cannot stand up to this corruption. Because like you said there, Biden's had documents. Biden's had all kinds of crap going on. And in fact, when a Ukrainian prosecutor was looking into what was going on while he was the VP, because he did some quid pro quo, oh my gosh, I can't speak. This is just making me mad. Quid pro quo. There we go. I can speak today. When he was the VP, he was like, he was making deals with the Ukrainians, with these companies here, and we have a nice little video of him that I doubt that most people have seen. So let's listen to let's listen to the president, because he sometimes forget he's president. Oh, just a minute. Sorry, it's having some technical difficulties. My video didn't come up. Hold on, here it is.
I said, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him.
All right, so hold on. So let me give you a little bit more background on that. So he was talking with Ukraine, because the Ukrainian prosecutor was looking into what was going on with the money, and he basically said, "F you, if you don't get this guy removed and stop the investigation, then we're not going to give you, like he said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion." And it was funny. It's a great joke. So here, let me start that over just a minute.
We're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you
An
have
A,
no authority.
right?
You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was 6 hours. I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
Oh.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yes, you are.
And they put in place someone who was solid. at the time. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to.
Isn't that great? So he got somebody fired because he was looking into the corruption of Mr. Joe Biden and his sons. The crack pipe Hunter Biden. He was looking into the corruption that is going on, and Biden was like, hey, if you don't get this guy fired, you're not getting the $1 billion. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. He got him fired because he was getting a little too close there. And, you've got the great words of Biden saying, this little number here, because we can always trust him, right? We can always trust President Brain Dead.
I give you my word as a Biden.
Oh, his word as a Biden. No. Yeah, your word doesn't mean anything there, buckaroo. Yeah, no. So, yeah, this is just this. I mean, it is so frustrating, just the amount of corruption, just the amount. Because where's the indictment for Hillary for her 30,000 plus emails, the phones that she destroyed when she wasn't supposed to, Benghazi, for hell's sakes. I mean, if we're gonna have equal rule under the law here, we gotta have it both ways. You can't have it one way. So we have there's a lot of videos for this episode, so I apologize if it seems like that's all I'm going to be doing, but I feel like that all this needs to be said. You've got Ted Cruz here over the Biden bribery scheme. So there's 3 different clips here, so let me get these pulled up. Here we go.
Changes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Russell. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, every day when I'm home in Texas, I hear from Texans who are deeply dismayed about the growing politicization and weaponization of the Department of Justice.
That's for sure.
And the FBI. If you are not, every one of you should be deeply concerned about the damage being done to the integrity of the institutions in which you operate. My office hears regularly from FBI agents and from assistant U.S. attorneys who are likewise concerned about the politicization and weaponization of the Department of Justice and the FBI, and this is profoundly damaging to the rule of law in our nation. Last month, a whistleblower brought to light the existence in the FBI of a report, an FD 1023, in which the informant alleges that President Biden and his family members engaged in a $5 million bribery scheme during his time as vice president. Deputy Director Abadi, is it true that the FBI has a report making those allegations?
I'm not going to comment on that, Senator.
And why is that?
I'm just not going to comment on information we've received, investigations.
Do you owe an obligation to the American people to be candid about evidence of corruption by the President of the United States?
This is an area that I'm not going to get into with you, Senator.
Well, I understand you don't want to, and that's why people are mad at the FBI, because you're stonewalling and covering up serious allegations of evidence of corruption from the president. Yesterday, Senator Chuck Grassley stood on the Senate floor and alleged that there are 17 recordings of this informant from Burisma, Ukrainian natural gas company. 15 of them are recordings, voice recordings of him talking to Hunter Biden. 2 of them are voice recordings of him talking to Joe Biden. Deputy Director Abate, does the FBI have 17 voice recordings laying out evidence of a bribery scheme?
Senator, I would add also that we've worked with the House Oversight Committee.
Yeah, this is the Senate. We're the other side of the Capitol. This is the Senate. Do you have those 17 recordings?
I'm not going to comment on it.
Why not?
I'm not going to comment on any investigative matters, Senator.
See, that's the problem. The FBI, and I've had this conversation with Chris Wray too, this is why you are damaging the institution. The American people have a right to know whether there is serious, credible evidence that the President of the United States took a $5 million bribe. And by the way, if it's false,
then just
Chairman
say
Durbin
it.
just rolled his eyes. If Chairman Durbin were interested in the rule of law, we would have a hearing on these allegations. But of course, the Democrats don't want a hearing on these allegations.
That's for sure.
And to be clear, if the allegations are false, you know who could disprove them? Joe Biden. He could call for this to be released publicly. But the FBI is stonewalling. Would you agree?
Two things, Senator. No
Sure.
one's stonewalling. The 1023
You just said you refused to answer the
was provided
question.
in response to a subpoena.
Okay, then why did you refuse to answer my
The
question?
pertinent information is there, and I reject your assertion that the
Why
FBI
did you
is
refuse to
politicized.
answer my question?
I just answered your question.
Okay.
No, you
So
didn't.
yes, you have a
You lying
1023. Do
sack
you
of
have the
crap.
17 recordings? Yes or no?
I'm not going to get further into that.
So you're stonewalling. You can't say I'm not refusing to answer your question, but I won't answer your question.
I'm going to answer within the parameters that we operate in.
Oh
That's
my
the problem. The
god.
FBI has right now an unlimited hubris that you believe you are unaccountable. You don't believe you're
Yep.
accountable to the United States Congress, and you don't believe you're accountable to the American people. And you are doing damage. The FBI is a great institution. When I go home to Texas, people ask me, should we abolish the FBI? Now, I tell them
Sure as
no,
hell feels
because
like
you
it.
have heroes and patriots working for you that are catching child predators, that are catching terrorists. But you're sitting there happily erecting a wall to protect Joe Biden. Will you provide to this committee, not the House, the Senate Judiciary Committee, will you provide the FD 1023 and will you provide the 17 recordings so we can assess what is the evidence, the specific credible evidence that Joe Biden personally took a $5 million bribe from a foreign national?
Not to mention the 10
Senator,
million
we
from
will
China.
work with this committee, you and other members, to provide the information within the parameters of the process.
Will you provide the FD 1023, yes or no?
I will take that back and we will work with our
So you're not
So
answering
that's a
that.
no.
Will you provide the
That's a
17
no.
recordings?
We will take that back and we'll work with you.
So you're not answering.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what the heck? We got one more. One more. Hang on there, people.
We will take that back and we'll work with you.
So you're not answering that either. Did you investigate in any way, shape, or form these allegations?
Senator, once
Nope.
again, I'm not going to comment.
So you're not going to say whether you did your job.
We do our job to the very best of our ability.
Well, not here. You're not answering a single question to the American people. And you may think this is esoteric. I promise you, millions of Americans are concerned. You know who isn't concerned? Not a single Senate Democrat. We're going to go through this whole hearing. Not one Democrat will ask a question about this. You know who else isn't concerned? The corporate media, who is joining with the Democrats in covering up this evidence. If Joe Biden is innocent,
Then just say
the
so.
evidence should be made public and demonstrate that he's
Absolutely.
innocent. But if he is not, is it true this informant who alleged that he personally took a bribe was an informant the FBI had relied upon previously in other investigations? Yes or no?
Senator, in each and every investigation that we have, all the work that we do,
I asked you
the
a yes or no
expectation
question.
is that every
I asked-
logical avenue investigation be pursued
I asked you a
to
yes
its
or no
fullest.
question. Are you going to answer it?
Yeah, I'm answering your question.
Was the informant one you had relied on previously in other investigations? Yes or no?
Senator, we run down every piece of information.
You're not
day,
answering it then. You're refusing to answer
objectively,
it. So you're refusing to answer the
to the
question.
fullest extent
Oh.
possible.
You're refusing to answer the question.
relentlessly,
Is that
and
correct?
aggressively in all instances.
Senator, your
It's
time is
disgraceful.
expired.
It's disgraceful, Deputy Director Abate. Disgraceful.
Senator, your time has expired.
Oh, Dick
Senator
Douglas, shut
Cruz.
up, you doofus.
Chairman, I think
So there you go. There's all that. Ugh. None of these people, not a single one of these people will ever answer a question. You go, no matter what it is, they all suck to high heaven at their freaking jobs. They can't do their job. They can't answer questions. They stonewall. They distract. They do anything they freaking can, but just answer the question. Because if Biden's innocent, then just say, hey, that's that. No, I didn't do any of that. And just release whatever it is. This guy obviously was smart enough to record these conversations that he had with Joe and Hunter. And, he's letting it out, because it's like, hey, I got this. Here you go. All evil things come out in the end, just like the scriptures say. Your sins will be shouted from the rooftops. That's exactly what's going on now here. All the cows are coming home, and it's time to pay the bill. So, not only Ted Cruz, and thank you for him being here in the great state of Texas. I didn't realize he was in the Senate now for 11 years. Has it really been 11 years since he's been in the Senate? Jeez Louise, man. So now we have another senator. And it is, oops, let me pull this up. It is J.D. Vance. And here's what he has to say about what's going on.
And I've heard from a lot of people that they're so frustrated, as I am, with the fact that Merrick Garland has used the Department of Justice for politics instead of law. And I think it's time we stop just whining about this problem and debating this problem and actually do something about it. So I've announced today that I will be holding all Department of Justice nominees that Merrick Garland will use, if confirmed, not to enforce the law impartially, which is his duty, but clearly to harass his political opponents. I think that we have to grind this department to a halt until Merrick Garland promises to do his job and stop going after his political opponents. Donald Trump is just one and the most recent example of the fact that Merrick Garland uses his department for political purposes. We have Catholic fathers harassed for their pro-life activism.
Yep.
We, of course, have violent criminals walking the streets after the 2020 summer of riots. And if you're letting the violent criminals go free and you're harassing Christian parents for their political activism, you're not engaged in justice, you're engaged in politics. Let's be honest about that fact, and let's make this department work a little bit more slowly until Merrick Garland changes course and actually does his job the right way. Thanks, guys.
All right, well, let's get this ball rolling, man, because we are, me as an American, I am sick to death of this corruption. I am sick to death of the lies. I am sick to death of everything that's going on here. I can't take it anymore. It's horrendous what this country, as growing up, I used to think, there's no way America would ever fall. I mean, we're the United States of America. We're the greatest country on the planet. And, we had reason to be back then. The 80s and 90s, we had reason to be. We were the greatest country. And just how fast, just these last 2 years, it's just been awful. Not to mention the 8 that we had with Barack Obama. I mean, those... I never ever thought that I'd, see the day where the United States would be like this, where political opponents would be falsely accused. I never thought that we would ever be here. So, we have another Congresswoman here, and Anna Paulina Luna. Hold on.
And something that's completely true is that getting ready to head back to Washington this week, and to give you guys a quick update on everything happening with the Joe Biden investigation. So something that Representative Mace had pointed out this morning, and something that's completely true, is that the day that House Oversight, which is the committee conducting the investigation into this bribery scheme with the president, the day that we got access to these special activity reports, Alvin Bragg indicted President Trump in New York. The day, again, that House Oversight got access to the form that the FBI had that stated that Joe Biden received a $5 million bribery transaction when he was sitting vice president, they then indict President Trump again. So there is absolutely an exploitation and abuse of the justice system. We will be sending out more subpoenas, but the fact is that right now, I do believe that the only way that we can fully conduct a full investigation without interference from the DOJ and the FBI is if we impeach President Biden. And based on the evidence that we have, I think that that's something that's very likely.
Wow. I mean, just amazing. Isn't it amazing, though, that as soon as they get information about Joe Biden, he's indicted in New York, and as soon as they get more corrupt, information about Joe Biden that's corrupt, we got to shine the light over there, shine it over there, shine it over there. Don't shine it on me. No, don't shine it on me over here. We got to shine it over there. And this guy, the corruption is, it's been since day one. It has been since day one, since he has been a senator, and he said so himself. back when he first came into the United States Congress. This is what he had to say.
Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though. Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though.
So we should assume he is not corrupt. So in other words, he is a corrupt SOB. Has been since I don't know when the heck was he put into the Senate, since like the 1850s. You know how old he is. I mean, it's just astounding. It's just astounding where we are at as a country, to where political opponents are falsely accused of just garbage, while, you know, on the other hand, it's just fine and dandy for, you know, Joey over there to do whatever he wants, get the $5 million from Ukraine. You know, there's another more information that has come out where he and his family got $10 million from China. So all as quid pro quo deals, you know, while he was VP, to turn American policy the way that these corrupt companies and corrupt nations wanted. And it's just sad. It's just sad to see that. So hopefully there's some hope there with some of these congressmen and their persistence. And, you know, if you want to do your part, call up your congressmen, call up your senators, call up all of them and say, hey, get on board with this. Let's get... Could you imagine, though? Kamala Harris is the president. They both got to go. Both of them. You can't have her as the president with her, you know, yellow school buses that she's so proud of, and her Venn diagrams and her word salads. Oh my gosh. I don't know. You know, we've got a year and a half left of this doofus face, so I don't know. We got to get him out. We got to get both of them out the hell out of there, because I just, you know, if he's in there again and they find a way to corrupt the election system next year too, I mean, we're not going to survive this. It'll be red states versus blue states, and I'm quite comfortable here in Texas. So, you know, if y'all want to come down here to Texas, you're not nuts and whacked out like these blue states are, come on. So there's all that. Hopefully that was fun. Wasn't that fun? That was fun, wasn't it? It was fun to see all that. And then, of course, there's more. That's not it. That was just kind of the most awful part of everything. So maybe we'll go into a little bit of sports here before this stuff here. So the the Denver Nuggets. It's gold, Nuggets. Nuggets are gold. That's what I was thinking of. Denver Nuggets have won the NBA Finals, so congratulations to them. That's pretty awesome. First NBA Finals for them. First win for them, so that's pretty cool. And then also in the NHL, what is their name? Las Vegas Golden Knights, the ones that beat the Dallas Stars. They in the last game, I think it was game 5. They blew out the Florida Panthers like 9-3 or something. I mean, for a hockey game, I believe that's just a massacre. So I would assume so. I don't really know much about hockey. I'm kind of brand new to hockey, you know. So there's that. And also Oklahoma. I know I mentioned FSU in the national championship, I believe, last week. I wanted to save that because those girls at Oklahoma are amazing. And yes, I just did say that. You know, being a Texas fan, I hate Oklahoma. We hate them. Yes, we do. So, that took a lot. It was a lot for me to kind of admit that. But when you hear these girls, and I'm going to play this later, because I got to get to this other topic, because I got to end. I'm going to have to end with them. We got to go out. We got to go out on a high note. We got to go out on a good note. So this next section of stuff is not that. So we will end this episode. We're talking about Oklahoma. So of course with Mr. Joe Biden there and his lovely, I'm going to call it an occupation of the White House, the house where John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Ronald Reagan, Abraham Lincoln, all these wonderful men had as their residence at one point in our history. It's just, I believe they would be absolutely appalled, especially the founders and what they went through to make us a nation. I believe they would be absolutely just appalled as to what transpired on the White House grounds there. Not that they're sacred, and it's not as a temple or anything like that, or a church or a cathedral, but just the absolute disgrace of what happened this last week at the White House. They had their Pride event down, up there in Washington, D.C., which when I lived in Virginia, I loved. It was amazing to go there and feel just all the history in Washington, D.C. It was quite, it was powerful to be up there when I served my church mission up there in the great state of Virginia. We got in one of my areas that I lived. It was I lived in Falls Church, which is right across the Potomac River in Virginia, and I got to see the Washington Monument a lot, just walking around, riding around, living up there. Just a great area. It's corrupt as anything right now with what's going on. But it's a beautiful area up there in Virginia and Maryland. It really is. It's just sad as to what it has become. And, the White House had its Pride event. And, last week I talked about this at length, but I do not have any problem. I don't care if a man wants to be with a man or a woman with a woman or, the bi thing. I don't care. I do not care. Just stop shoving it in my face like I'm supposed to promote it. And leave the kids the hell alone. That's the problem with the whole Pride thing right now, is they won't leave children alone. So of course they had their Pride event, and just the absolute disgrace of Joe Biden's administration is the American flag is supposed to be the highest flag. If it's with another nation, they're equal. Or in the state, in the case of Texas here, we can fly the Texas flag and the American flag both at the same height, because Texas was its own country at one point, and we are dang proud of that. I'm not a natural born Texan, but there's bumper stickers down here. They're like, not a native Texan, but I got here as soon as I could, and that was for sure. When I first came down here, I was like, oh my gosh, there's some sane people in the world. Not that the other states aren't great, but Texas is, Texas is the America of the, of the United States. America's the America of the world. Texas is America in the United States, with the pride and all that. So, with that said, what happened at the White House is there was one of those weird looking pride flags, the one with the sort of pyramid triangle thing, not just a regular rainbow flag. It was like the rainbow flag with the triangle at the top of it, or whatever you call that, the top, where the stars and stripes should be, you know, that triangle thing. So that flag was front and center, and 2 American flags were surrounding that flag. Not the other way around. It wasn't the American flag first. It was the freaking pride flag. The flag that represents sexual, you know. Oh, I need this. We need the Oklahoma thing soon because I'm going to lose my mind. But yeah. So if you haven't seen it, obviously with an audio, I cannot show pictures, but I will post it on my social media on the Caden Eric Show on Facebook and Caden Eric Show on Twitter and on Truth Social if you're on that. And you can see it for yourself, how just absolutely disgraceful it is. And then they, you know, of course they had their people there, you know, the Pride people, and this is what some of them had to say on the grounds. So you've got what's her name? I forget what she is. She's some kind of health, I don't know, secretary for the White House. I believe her first name's Rachel Levine. Well, she's not really a she. She's a dude who thinks that he's a she. I mean, it's just, if you don't know who the heck you are, how the crap are we supposed to know what the crap you are? So, anyway, this is what they had to say.
Trans people deserve health equity.
Trans people
They have
deserve
it.
to see trans joy in the media.
Trans people deserve to exist peacefully.
Trans people deserve
Have it.
autonomy.
Trans people
Have
deserve
it.
to be loved and believed. Trans kids deserve to be kids.
Oh, right. I'm going to have to stop it right there. Trans kids. What the hell did he say? Trans kids deserve to be kids. Listen, dude. There's no such thing as a trans kid, okay? Those that suffer from, what is it called? Gender dysphoria. 80% of them work their crap out and are fine later on. All right? There is no such thing as a trans kid. These poor kids are groomed and confused by these groomer teachers or media, who the hell ever, into thinking there's something they're not, or there's something wrong with them. That's what's going on with these kids. Here's the rest of this nonsense.
Trans people deserve to exist without debate. Trans people deserve.
Just it's just, I don't know, man. They deserve to exist without debate. Sorry, I'm not gonna sit there. You know, if you want to believe that if a dude wants to believe that he's a girl, whatever, I'm not gonna go along with your little delusion there. I'm not gonna do it. But more power to you. You know, I believed I was He-Man when I was younger, so did that come true? Do I still think I'm He-Man? You know, sometimes I think I'm He-Man. But no, that is not a true fact. I am not He-Man. I cannot transition to He-Man. And the same goes with the trans. You cannot transition from a male to a female. That is not how biology works. So, there's that. Isn't that lovely? That's just lovely, isn't it? I don't know, there's more. This episode's getting really long. I figured it would, just based on the amount of information. So, let's see. Let's play this too. This is another thing. This is just getting exhausting. Hold on. All right, so a lot of this is obviously this is a video file, or a video file. Good golly. So I will try, if there's no speaking, I will try to describe it. So there's what it looks like. I got a guy here in a Navy uniform is what this looks like. And then there's a girl. Well, she looks like a girl. I don't know. Who knows? It might be a guy. I don't know. Dancing around in a white dress.
Thank you. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Year. Happy Pride Life. Transgender children.
You are beautiful.
You are
Wait a minute.
transgender children.
Transgender children. There's no such thing as a transgender child. You doofus.
You are heard.
You belong.
You're understood.
You are loved.
Sure as hell aren't understood.
The bravest, most inspiring people I've ever known.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you're welcome. Good folks.
Can we take a little video? Hi, Mr. President.
All right, that's a dude.
Trans rights are human rights.
All right, he's taking a video. He's got his glasses down. Oh, I can't work the camera. And she is dancing with the trans flag. Oh, the Washington Monument. Oh, yep, they're just posing. Oh, now we're topless. Now we are topless at the White House, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, that just happened. They were topless at the White House. Is that like is that like a destination, or is that like a place to go do that thing? Is that kind of like is that going to become a nudist beach? You know, because it's on the river. Well, sort of. It's not really on the river, but is that what's going to happen now? But just disgraceful. Just absolutely disgraceful. I mean, what do you do? What do? You just keep going. You keep fighting. That's what we got to do. You just keep fighting. Keep working it out. So yes, there was a transvestite flashes fake breasts below White House. Promptly flown pride flag after taking photo with the Bidens. And then obviously and then right next to him with the fake boobs is a woman that has transitioned. Well, she's cut off her breasts and is obviously taking testosterone because she is now hairy. But you can see the incisions where the breasts were taken out. And you've got a little, let's go back in history. Way back in 2020, September 6th, Joe Biden tweets, "We need to restore honor and decency to the White House." That is for sure, ladies and gentlemen. That is for sure. Let's restore that. Let's get some decency back to the White House and to Washington, D.C. Can we do that, please? Let's do that. And let's just, I played this last week, but let's just remind everybody how Joe Biden thought about gay marriage. So this is the vice presidential debate from 2008. Oops, sound.
No, Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage.
Oh.
I do not support that.
Wait.
That is basically
What?
a decision to be able to be left to the faith and people who practice their faith determination what you call it. The bottom line, though, is, and I'm glad
What?
to hear the girl take her at her word.
Wait, hold on.
That she
Hold on, let's redo that again.
Do you support gay marriage?
No, Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. I do not support that. That is basically a decision to be able to be left to the faith and people who practice their faith determination what you call it. The bottom line, though, is, and I'm glad to hear the.
All right, well, that's all I want to hear from that little. So, him nor Barack Obama wanted the marriages between a man and a woman, right? That's what he just said. Apparently that is no longer the case because that's not what happened over the weekend in Washington, D.C. So there it is. But you know what? The good thing, here's some good stuff. We're going into the good stuff. We had to get through the crap stuff first, but people are fighting back. And if you do not think this this, I'm going to call it, what do you call this here? Agenda. I always call it the alphabet soup agenda. But if you do not think that that is in our schools, take a listen to this. This is in a high school in Huntington Beach. All right, so what it is that all these kids are in class. They're sitting there, and there's a presentation, and the teacher is showing this. There's a pride flag flying, and this is what the kids have to. This is what the kids say, and listen to the teacher is the important thing. So all the kids hate it. They don't want to see it. Yes. Why are you showing this to kids? It is. It looks like too.
Now, if you're going to be inappropriate, I will have supervision down and give all of you a Saturday school for next year. So knock it off. Okay.
So if you have a problem with it, you're the one who's in trouble. If you have a problem with it, you're the one is going to apparently go to summer school or whatever the crap she was talking about. So the kids didn't want it. They're like, the one taking the video was like, why are you showing this in class? This has absolutely no place in our school systems. And it's not just us. Canada's doing the same crap. Maybe this isn't so good, this part. Because, oh my gosh. It's not a joke, man. This is not a joke. This is really what's going on in our schools. And you know what? People are fighting back on it, like I said. So here we go. Here's the good stuff. Ready for this? There is... let's see. This is in... I got to pull this up too. All right. So here is a bunch of parents. And just so happens that it is Christian parents, Muslim parents, and Jewish parents all on the same team fighting against the alphabet soup agenda. And this is in, let's see. So there's there's forces. We'll just call them forces because that's basically what it is. There is the alphabet soup crowd, and then there are the parents of these kids, and this is in Canada here. And if you think it's not coming here, it's already here, man. It is already here. There was a big thing in West LA or West Hollywood, I believe. I don't know, somewhere down there, where the parents have just had enough, and they went to the school because the school wanted to have this little pride thing. Elementary school. So both of them are chanting different things. So right now it'll be focused on the pride people. So and then it'll shift over to the parents. All right, play. Go home fascists is what they're calling the parents. There's a line of cops in between them. And they're all dressed, they got all their flags, all their little alphabets. Here we go. So clearly there are Muslims, there are Christians, there are Jewish people all in this crowd, and they have had enough. They are sick to death of it. And you got some doofus in a unicorn. So, there's that, right? There's that. The problem is when you come after the kids, that's where the problem is. Okay? That is the problem. So, it's... nobody cares if you decide as a man to sleep with a man. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. But here's what one gay man has to say.
The trans movement is using the LGBT community as a shield and push their radical agenda of mutilation, sterilization, and indoctrination of minors. And as a gay man who represents the organization Gays Against Groomers, I'm here to make it loud and clear. The LGBT community is sick of being used as a scapegoat for these destructive practices that are ruining kids' lives before they ever even had a fighting chance. For years, the LGBT community has fought valiantly for tolerance and acceptance in American society, and in the year 2023, we have achieved that. Now, all our progress is being erased because our community has been hijacked by trans terrorists. The LGBT community is being used like a Trojan horse by extremists in a death cult to ruin the future generation of our country by destroying their bodies, creating irreversible damage, and lifelong medical patients before these kids ever reach puberty. And make no mistake, the radical trans movement has become a death cult. Their most recent mantra is death before detransition. They're possessed by a sick obsession with bodily mutilation, self-harm, identity destruction, and pure hatred for anyone who dares to question this dangerous ideology.
Yep, that is for darn sure that they will. I mean, he said it, right? He's represents the Gays Against Groomers community there. You know, it's just, and the United States isn't the only one. Canada isn't the only one. Even in England, you know, in England, they in between the buildings there are houses. It's not really a house; they're like row houses, townhomes. They have, you know, they always drape the flags in between. So, what happened up there, or over there across the pond, over there in jolly old England, is, you know, they drape their flags across their buildings there. And one of the things that they did, which is just lovely. So here is what he has to say. Warning to this, there is an F-bomb, but I feel like this needs to be said. So there's a Union Jack hanging below their pride flag.
You're taking the wrong fucking flag down, mate. At least you know that.
100%. And the Union flag, the Union Jack, Union flag. Whoops, wrong Union. The Union Jack is cut from the string or whatever is holding it up, cut off. The workers know it. The city, they look like they're probably from the city of wherever this is, and it falls to the ground. I think that was, I mean, kind of poetic, right? This trans, you know, as the Gays Against the Groomers man said, trans terrorists are taking over. They're taking over, and if you have anything to say about it, you're the bad guy. We are clearly in the age where good is evil and evil is good, as is prophesied. So, with all that, let's get to the good stuff, right? Everybody's been waiting. Everyone wants to hear what these wonderful, wonderful girls, and what they have to say. Because we get a little background. I'm sure girl softball isn't the biggest sport, but you know, doesn't draw the most people there. But they are some of the most amazing girls I have ever heard. You know, it's what has happened is they have won 3 national championships in a row. They lost 1 game this entire year, and I believe it was by a run. I think it was to Baylor. They lost like 5-4, but they have knocked off, like, they went on a 50-plus game winning streak this year. Like I said, the 3rd national championship in a row. They beat FSU in this year. They swept them 2-0. They I believe they crushed Texas last year, 2-0. And then they beat FSU again and the year before that. So 2021, 22, and 23. OU women's softball has completely dominated softball. The whole NCAA, they've completely dominated it here for years. And there is a reason for that. Not just because they're good, because they are, but where these girls, and it's a culture. It's the culture of the school, of the program, the coach or manager, whatever. It is a complete culture for these girls. They have immersed themselves in it, and this is what they had to say. This is This clip here is not after winning the national championship. This is during the tournament, though. And what these girls have to say is truly awesome, truly amazing, where they give 100% of their credit to. So take a listen to them. Let's see. There we go. And where's the sound? Sound. Where'd you go? Hold on. Technical difficulties. Dang it. There we go.
How do you handle Alex Scarborough with ESPN for the players? I know you talk about keeping the joy of the game, but I'm curious. It's a long season, right? And you guys have had the target on your back the entire time, the win streak being number one. How do you handle the unique pressure that comes with that? How do you keep the joy for so long when anxiety seems like a thing that could very easily set in?
The only way that you can have a joy that doesn't fade away is from the Lord. And any other type of joy is actually happiness that comes from circumstances and outcomes. I think Coach has said this before, but joy from the Lord is really the only thing that can keep you motivated, just in a good mindset, no matter the outcomes. Thankfully, we've had a lot of success this year, but if it was the other way around, joy from the Lord is the only thing that can keep you embracing those memories, moments, friendships, and all of that. So that's really the only answer to that, because there's no other way that softball can bring you that, because of how much failure comes in it and just how much of a roller coaster the game can be.
1000% agree with Grace Lyons. I went through that my freshman year. I was so happy to win the college. I've talked about this before, but I was just so happy that we won the College World Series, but I didn't feel joy. I didn't know what to do the next day. I didn't know what to do for that following week. I didn't feel filled, and I had to find Christ in that. And I think that is what makes our team so strong, is that we're not afraid to lose, because if it's not the end of the world if we do lose. Yes, obviously we've worked our butts off to be here and we want to win, but it's not the end of the world, because our life is in Christ, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think a huge thing that we've really just latched onto is eyes up. And you guys see us doing this and pointing up, but we're really like fixing our eyes on Christ. And that's something where, like they were saying, you can't find a fulfillment in an outcome, whether it's good or bad. And I think that's why we're so steady in what we do, and our love for each other and our love for the game, because we know this game is giving us the opportunity to glorify God. And I just think once we figured that out, and that was our purpose, and everyone was all in with that, it's really changed so much for us. And I mean, I know myself, I've seen so much of a growth in myself with once I turned to Jesus and I realized how he had changed my outlook on life, not just softball, but understanding how much I have to live for, and that's living to exemplify the kingdom. And I think that brings so much freedom. And I'm sure everyone's story is similar, but we all have those great testimonies that have really like shown how awesome it is to play for something bigger. And I think that's just what brings me so much joy. And no matter the outcome, whether we get a trophy in the end or not, this isn't our home. And I think that's what's amazing about it, is we have so much more. We have an eternity of joy with our Father, and I'm so excited about that. And yes, I live in the moment, but I know this isn't my home, and no matter what, my sisters in Christ will be there with me in the end, when we're with our King. So,
Patty, you've got to keep your...
Holy cow. Holy cow. just absolutely amazing from these girls. Absolutely amazing. Give all the glory to him. And, you know, like they said, there's ups and downs in this world, but as long as you have your eyes up to where they need to be, and you are aligned to where you need to be aligned, you will do just fine. Because he is there, he's watching over, and he is in charge. So I hope you've enjoyed this show. There is still good in the world. Even though there was a lot of crap today, but there is good things in this world. I mean, that is the University of Oklahoma. That wasn't Notre Dame. That wasn't Baylor. That wasn't SMU. That wasn't even BYU. The University of Oklahoma. Clearly, it's a culture with these girls. Clearly, their coach is just amazing. And you know what? I will cheer for Oklahoma softball. Not the rest of it, I don't think. No, I'm not going to cheer for football. No, sorry. I'm not going to do that. Unless some video comes out where they do the same thing, that's going to be really hard. I'm going to have a really difficult time because I do not like Oklahoma. But Oklahoma softball, amazing. Absolutely 100% amazing. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It has been a long one, but there is a lot of crap to get through. I mean, this is just the surface as I'm recording. This is going, the timer's just going, and we're in an hour and 12 minutes right now. You know, there's just more and more stories. I could go on and on, but I'll have to save those for future episodes because there's crap in those yet to come. But let's end with them. Let's end with them. I mean, the last girl that spoke there, this isn't our home down here. This is not our home. We have to do our best, but this is not our home. And let's make him proud. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as you can. But there is still good. There's good. You know, they were amazing when I heard that speech from them. And that, you know, that wasn't even after they won the national. That was just during the tournament. You know, after they won the national championship, they did another press conference and they mentioned the Lord. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more times in a 15-minute press conference. You know, multiple girls mentioned that. Just amazing. So hope you have a good week and we can do this. We got to draw the line in the sand, though. Enough is enough. It's time to rise up and do the right thing. So with that, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.